Hello everyone, I am Konoha Connections. Today I'm going to introduce Jiraiya. Many viewers have a feeling of relying on bloodlines after watching Naruto. Most strong individuals have inherited powerful Kaki Jankai. However, Jiraiya is not of this type. Although his birth and family background are not mentioned, from his performance in his childhood, it seems he didn't inherit any special abilities. Jiraiya in his childhood was both inexperienced and immature in strength and temperament. At that time, he was just a straggler who threw all his shurikens away. His goal as a ninja was merely to win Tsunade's heart. His master, the third Hokage, taught him the first technique, the summoning jutsu. However, the restless Jiraiya hadn't formed a contract with the summoning animal. He directly attempted a reverse summoning. He transported himself to Mount Myoboku. Mount Myoboku is the birthplace of Senjutsu. It existed before the shinobi world was established. Jiraiya was the first human to set foot there after the Sage of Six Paths. However, the Toads of Mount Myoboku were not surprised. It turns out that the Great Toad Sage had foreseen his arrival 1,000 years ago. Jiraiya began to train himself. As his power grew, his character underwent changes. He began to realize the sense of duty for the great responsibility bestowed upon him. As the first human to learn Senjutsu on Mount Myoboku after the Sixth Path Sage, such formidable power could not be merely used for romantic endeavors. At this point, the Great Toad Sage made another prophecy. This time, it was clearer and more specific. In the prophecy, Jiraiya takes on an apprentice, and that apprentice was the child of prophecy, who would bring about a significant change in the world. Jiraiya was the one guiding this transformative figure. His choice would bring an unprecedented era of peace or destruction to the world. Jiraiya was taken aback. His initial aim as a ninja was simply to impress girls. Although he had recently felt a sense of mission, he didn't expect it to be to save the world directly. He asked the Great Toad Sage what he should do. The Great Toad Sage only said, "In the prophecy, you will travel the world and write books." And so, Jiraiya set out on his journey. Thus began Jiraiya's journey to find the child of prophecy. This is why, despite his deep love for Konoha, he was hardly ever in the village. During his travels, a great war broke out in the ninja world. He encountered various kinds of ninjas. Though they were all dissatisfied with war, none of them had the courage to change the world. Later, the war reached Konoha. Jiraiya returned to the village and fought alongside Tsunade in Orochimaru. In the battle against the Megaku's leader, Hanzo of the Salamander, their strength was acknowledged by the enemy. They were granted the title of the three legendary ninjas of Konoha. Regarding Hanzo, the anime described him as the pinnacle of the ninja world. Although Jiraiya and his companions were defeated by him, Konoha still emerged victorious in the overall war. As they prepared to return to the village, they encountered Nagato, Yahiko, and Conan. They were war orphans from Omegakia. Jiraiya decided to stay and take care of them. Later, Jiraiya was astonished when he saw Nagato's Rinnegan. Being knowledgeable, he understood it to be the most noble of the jutsu. For the first time since the Sage of Six Paths, the Rinnegan had appeared. Could he be the child of prophecy? Jiraiya began to guide Nagato. He discovered that Nagato was a gentle and kind child. When he asked Nagato how to end the war, Nagato replied, "If there truly is peace, I will hold on to it tightly. Belief is more important than the means." Finally, Jiraiya believed that he had found the child of prophecy. He began to record his tales of wandering in the form of an autobiography. The book was titled Tale of the Gutsy Ninja. The protagonist was named Naruto, and he was based on Nagato. 3 years later, Jiraiya felt that Nagato and his friends had enough strength to protect themselves. Their future paths needed to be walked by themselves. Coincidentally, the Third Great Ninja War erupted. He returned to Konoha to join the battle. In this war, the title of Konoha's three legendary ninjas became a legend, renowned across various countries. His other apprentice, Minato Namikaze, also rose as a shining new star. Konoha emerged victorious in this war. However, at this time, Jiraiya received news of Nagato and his friend's deaths. The child of prophecy he had spent half his life searching for had perished in the blink of an eye. He regretted deeply and set out on his journey once again. Minato Namikaze became the fourth Hokage. After reading Jiraiya's tale of the gutsy ninja, he decided to name his soon-to-be-born child after the protagonist of the book. Jiraiya became the godfather of Naruto's name. However, later, during the Nine Tails attack on Konoha, the fourth Hokage perished. Once again, during his travels, Jiraiya received news of his apprentice's death. Years later, having achieved nothing, he returned to Konoha. He encountered the grown-up Naruto. Jiraiya became Naruto's master. He made a summoning contract with the toads of Mount Mayoboku for Naruto. This created an opportunity for Naruto to practice Senjutsu. Later, when Orochimaru invaded Konoha, Jiraiya arrived, but the third Hokage had already sacrificed himself using the Reaper Death Seal. Once again, he missed the chance to protect his master. At this point, the Konoha elders wanted him to become the Hokage. With the third Hokage's death, the village needed a strong leader. However, Jiraiya refused. Because he had discovered an organization called the Katsuki, which was capturing the tailed beasts, it was highly likely that they had their eyes on Naruto. He decided that this time he must protect Naruto at all costs. However, he mentioned that he would bring Tsunade to be the Hokage. He, along with Naruto, taught him the Rasengan while searching for Tsunade. At this time, the members of the organization, Itachi and Kisame, infiltrated Konoha. They caught sight of Jiraiya beside Naruto. They assessed the situation. If we fight, we'll both be in trouble. At best, it's a draw. Even if more people join, it's futile. From this, you can see the strength of Jiraiya's reputation. But these words were also influenced by Itachi's considerations. He was originally sent by the third Hokage as a spy to infiltrate the Katsuki. He didn't really want to capture Naruto, let alone fight Jiraiya, but to protect his cover. Itachi controlled a beautiful woman to seduce and divert Jiraiya while he found Naruto. After some time, Jiraiya saw through the trick. He summoned the great Toad Sage of Mount Mayoboku, trapping Itachi and Kisame inside. He planned to annihilate them. Jiraiya claimed that no one had ever escaped from this technique. Itachi and Kisame immediately retreated. Seeing them about to be caught, Itachi used the Mangekyo Sharingan's Amaterasu. This broke through the fleshy barrier and allowed them to escape. Seeing the black flames of Amaterasu, Jiraiya was greatly surprised. The esophagus of the great Toad Sage, which already spewed fire, was burned through by the flames. He used sealing jutsu to contain the unquenchable black flames. On Itachi's side, Kisame asked him why he fled despite his abilities. Itachi said, capturing the Nine Tails can wait for now. I need to rest, not just my eyes. Right now, I can't even maintain my Mangekyo Sharingan. Even with a single use of Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu, it's a considerable burden for me. However, from the battles that followed, it can be seen that using Tsukuyomi and Amaterasu once is strenuous for him, but it's still far from his limit. He might have used it as an excuse to avoid a confrontation with Jiraiya. Of course, this doesn't mean that Itachi would definitely win against Jiraiya. In fact, the question of who is stronger between Itachi and Jiraiya has been debated for a long time. Some people use Orochimaru as a reference point. They argue that Itachi defeated Orochimaru in both of their battles swiftly, and Jiraiya, as one of the three legendary Sannin, is believed to be on par with Orochimaru in terms of strength. However, this reference is not entirely accurate. In Itachi's two encounters with Orochimaru, he used Genjutsu and the Tsukuyomi seal to resolve the battles instantly. Orochimaru had no chance to retaliate. This situation had a certain level of counteraction. Among the three legendary Sannin, Tsunade leans towards medical jutsu and Orochimaru towards academics. Jiraiya, on the other hand, stands out in terms of combat ability. Additionally, Jiraiya's Sage mode provides resistance against Genjutsu. Itachi would likely have a hard time directly defeating Jiraiya with Genjutsu. This location is within the Land of Fire. Once a prolonged battle begins, both sides can summon their respective giant toads and Susanoo. and the Konoha's reinforcements will likely arrive promptly. Not long after Itachi and Kisame left, Might Guy already arrived. Later, Jiraiya taught Naruto the Rasengan, and he found Tsunade. But then they encountered Orochimaru. It turned out that Orochimaru's hands were sealed by the third Hokage, and he needed Tsunade to heal him. He used the prospect of reviving her loved ones as bait. Tsunade didn't want to involve Jiraiya, so she drugged him and went to meet Orochimaru on her own. When Jiraiya woke up, he immediately rushed to support Tsunade. But because the effects of the drug hadn't worn off, he could only use less than a third of his full strength. So this unprecedented battle between the three legendary Sannin became somewhat comical. Jiraiya had to summon a ridiculous little toad. Tsunade was hemophobia and couldn't move. Orochimaru was in slightly better condition, despite his sealed hands, but only his head and tongue could move. So, the battle consisted of the first half being Naruto and Shizune versus Yakushi Kabuto, and the second half featured the three summoned beasts clashing. Finally, Tsunade overcame her hemophobia and drove off Orochimaru. Jiraiya, on the other hand, was just coasting along the entire time. Later, Jiraiya guided Naruto's training for a long period of 3 years. During this time, he continuously attempted to have Naruto completely master the power of the Nine Tails. He used the sealing key left by the fourth Hokage and slightly opened the seal of the Nine Tails. But Naruto's will was instantly consumed by the Nine Tails, entering the Four Tails state. In order to control the rampaging Naruto, Jiraiya sustained injuries. Some might wonder how Jiraiya could be heavily injured by the Four Tails Naruto, when even Orochimaru managed to retreat unscathed from the Four Tails Naruto without using his hands. Pain even managed to handle the Eight Tails Naruto. But it should be noted that being able to fight and being able to control are two different levels. Jiraiya doesn't have wood style and doesn't possess the Sharingan. He had to attach tags to Naruto's head, and also had to be careful not to harm him. Orochimaru, on the other hand, didn't have such reservations. He could leave if he couldn't win. As for Pain, he has the Rinnegan, and could directly handle the Nine Tails without difficulty. 3 years later, the two of them finished their training and returned to Konoha. But Jiraiya didn't settle down immediately. Instead, he immediately left the village to investigate the Akatsuki organization. Finally, he discovered the hiding place of the leader of the Akatsuki in Hidden Rain Village, which was the village where he encountered Nagato and the others years ago. Upon hearing this, the fifth Hokage, Tsunade, was immediately eager to attack the Hidden Rain Village. However, to verify the authenticity of the intelligence, Jiraiya decided to investigate first before devising a strategy for the operation. Tsunade was very concerned about Jiraiya's safety. In order to reassure her, Jiraiya suggested that the always unlucky Tsunade bet on him dying. However, when I come back and win the bet, how about marry me? I added that last part myself. Jiraiya ultimately remained hesitant to say the last part, while Tsunade seemed to be waiting for him to say it. Jiraiya bid farewell to Tsunade, and Konoha set off for the Hidden Rain Village. He infiltrated the Hidden Rain Village, and Jiraiya discovered that this village was even more stable than he had imagined. He found out through inquiries that Shen Shu, the old head of the village, was no longer in charge of this village. The village was now managed by a person called God, Pain, and his spokesman, Conan. The people in the village worshipped them greatly. Jiraiya learned that Pain had killed Hanzo on his own, and unified this country that had been in constant war for years. Jiraiya was greatly shocked. He was very clear about Hanzo's strength. He had a premonition that this mission would be exceptionally dangerous, but he didn't want to return empty-handed. While he was further investigating, Conan suddenly attacked. It turned out that from the moment Jiraiya stepped into the Hidden Rain Village, Pain had already tracked his movements. The perpetual rain in the Hidden Rain Village was precisely Pain's sensory ninjutsu. However, Conan was not a match for Jiraiya, and her paper jutsu was countered by fire and oil. Conan's paper was rendered unusable after being soaked in oil, and Jiraiya easily captured her, but Pain quickly intervened. The first one to appear was the Animal Path, who was proficient in summoning jutsu. When Jiraiya saw Pain's Rinnegan, he mistook him for Nagato, whose appearance had drastically changed. Jiraiya questioned him about why he created a Katsuki and why he wanted to capture the tailed beasts. Nagato told him it was for the sake of peace. Collecting the tailed beasts was to develop a forbidden jutsu weapon capable of instantly destroying a nation. Afterward, a Katsuki would provide this weapon to every country. This would make the various countries fear each other, preventing them from starting a war. However, Nagato's plan was destined to fail, because he was manipulated by Madara and Obito, and Madara was manipulated by Black Setsu. The final result would only be the infinite Tsukuyomi and the revival of Kaguya. Moreover, if peace was established out of fear, then this peace itself would be fragile and contradictory. Jiraiya decided to stop Nagato. Aware of his opponent's strength, Jiraiya immediately prepared to enter Sage mode. But absorbing natural energy took time. He summoned a toad to deal with the opponent. The opponent's summons were endless, especially a dog that could split infinitely, which was particularly troublesome. Jiraiya used his shadow clones to lure these dogs together. He then summoned the toad's esophagus. He engulfed them all in one go. After that, a strange bird appeared. Jiraiya used fire style to take care of it. Then, a rhinoceros appeared. It was dealt with by Jiraiya's shadow clones. The animal pet summons kept coming one after another, but by this time, Jiraiya was ready. He summoned the two great toad sages, Fukasaku and Chima, and entered Sage mode. Jiraiya's combat strength increased dramatically. His attack style also underwent changes. These summons were no match for him. But the animal path summoned the predator and human paths to assist, leaving Jiraiya once again astonished. All three of them actually shared the Rinnegan. The human path attacked first and was kicked away by Jiraiya, while the predator path, which could absorb ninjutsu, proved to be quite troublesome. Jiraiya and the two great toad sages used senjutsu in combination, but it was easily absorbed. Even Jiraiya's massive Rasengan was absorbed. Even his taijutsu attacks aimed at the opponent's blind spots were blocked. Jiraiya speculated that the opponent must have the same eyes as him, probably sharing vision between them. Since ninjutsu and taijutsu were ineffective, he had no choice but to use genjutsu. Although Jiraiya had no idea how to use genjutsu, the two great toad sages could use powerful genjutsu together. Moreover, this genjutsu spread through sound, something the Rinnegan couldn't resist. This genjutsu took control of all three opponents. Jiraiya killed them one by one. Just when he thought he had dealt with all the enemies, letting his guard down, suddenly another pain silently ambushed him from behind. Jiraiya was caught off guard and had one of his arms severed. At this point, all 6 paths of pain appeared. The 3 previously dealt with paths were also revived. Jiraiya lost his left hand and was unable to make seals. His combat strength was greatly diminished. Even so, he fought paying 6 paths single-handedly. He managed to drag the animal path into a dimensional barrier and used a massive Rasengan to finish it off. It was then that he realized this pain was actually a ninja he had met during his travels around the world. The two toads advised him to retreat and plan for the long term. But Jiraiya had to go on to confirm one thing. If he retreated now, it would be very difficult to approach pain later. He returned to Omega Gear. Finally, he confirmed the true identity of Pain's 6 paths. Sure enough, these people were all sorts of ninjas he had met during his travels. In other words, they were just manipulated puppets. The real Pain was not among them. However, in his shock, Jiraiya was ambushed once again by the Asura path hidden underwater. The 6 paths of Pain simultaneously dealt him a fatal blow. As his consciousness faded, he finally realized that the child of the prophecy was not Nagato but Naruto. He had always believed that his guidance of the child of the prophecy had failed, that he had not properly nurtured Nagato, and that he had failed to stop Pain in the end. But in fact, he had nurtured Naruto's father into a great ninja, and the book he wrote bestowed the name Naruto upon him. At the same time, he carefully guided Naruto, helping him grow, and providing him with a warmth like that of a family. It was only in the end that Jiraiya realized that he had inadvertently guided the child of the prophecy correctly. Jiraiya used his less strength to write information about Pain on the toad's back. He sank underwater in Pain's attack, but he wore a relieved smile. Jiraiya's battle with Pain was actually had the upper hand in the first half of the battle. He suffered no damage when he killed 3 of the Pains, and it seemed like he had sufficient chakra. But from the surprise attack by the Asura path from behind, and the loss of his arm, the situation quickly turned. From Jiraiya's several battles, it can be seen that his fighting style was very traditional. He relied on seals to use ninjutsu and scrolls to use sealing techniques. Unlike some ninjas who relied on jutsu and only needed to start a fight. Therefore, the loss of one of his arms had a significant impact on him. Eventually, he could only fight with one-handed Rasengan. If Jiraiya had known from the beginning that the enemy had 6 of them, and hadn't underestimated the situation, perhaps the outcome would have been different. After the battle, Pain once said that without this secret, they would not have been able to defeat Jiraiya. However, even though the outcome might have changed, Jiraiya could have used space ninjutsu to escape after ascertaining Pain's true identity, but this did not mean that he could have defeated Pain. In fact, the strongest Deva path hardly made any moves. Later, when Sage Mode Naruto's strength almost surpassed Jiraiya's, during the battle with the Deva path of Pain, if it wasn't for Hinata's sacrifice, and the sudden berserk of the 9 tails, he would have been killed directly. Moreover, Jiraiya was facing the enemy alone, completely unaware of their background. Meanwhile, Naruto had already known most of the information about Pain, and he fought the enemy with the power of the entire village. Regarding Jiraiya's strength, if we were to make a more objective assessment, even when he died, based on the power level at the time of the battle, his strength was almost second to none. Jiraiya's story ends here. Later, the collective revival of the impure world reincarnation did not bring him back to the stage. I think this is also a good arrangement. On the one hand, Jiraiya had fulfilled his mission by nurturing the child of the prophecy, Naruto, and by revealing the information about Pain. The only regret is that Tsunade's feelings were not explicitly addressed. On the other hand, according to the law of no body, no death, and the fact that Jiraiya's consciousness remained when he sank to the bottom, his death was, in fact, open-ended. Later, Jiraiya's body was said to be unfound by Yakushi Kabuto, but judging from the map, the point in the megacure is not that large. Even the Idara, who was blown up, was found. There should be no reason why Jiraiya's body couldn't be found. In the recent Boruto comics, there appeared a hermit named Kaishin Koji who could use Rasengan and Toad summoning technique. Immediately, rumors of Jiraiya's resurrection started to spread. But it has to be said that the foreshadowing has already been planted. This is possible. However, when Jiraiya is seen again, it's hard to imagine the expressions of Naruto and the other high-level ninjas. It's beyond imagination. That's all for this episode. If you liked the video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. I am Konoha Connections. See you in the next episode.